Hi, my name is Tim Blackburn. I teach sociology here at Level College. I have been doing so for, I think this is my, what I'd say, about my 15th year when you guys get here. So yeah, I'm quite experienced. Been teaching longer than that, but yeah, I love it here. I think looking forward to meeting some new people. Sociology is, well, it's big and clever really. It's a sort of subject that if you like to have debates and think about the world, then that's the sort of person we're looking for, if that sounds like you. Within the course, there are various topics that we look at that obviously we're examined in, but the first topic that we're looking at is looking at your identity and culture and how our identity is shaped and reinforced by the world around us. So for example, how does our family shape who we are, and how do films, how do our friends, what sort of influence do they have on how we see ourselves in terms of our age identity, our gender identity. Then we also look at, in the first year, we look at youth subcultures. So that's like looking at goths and moshers and rockers, and trying to find out why these subcultures exist, and also looking at the sort of deviant youth subcultures as well. So why do some young people get involved with mischief? Is that something that we can understand in terms of poverty, inequality, or is it just young people messing about, growing up, pushing boundaries? And the second year, we look at research methods. So how do sociologists do research? So we're looking at interviews, questionnaires, surveys, so finding out about people and what makes them tick. And we also look at crime and deviance, and that's quite a nice meaty topic if you're interested in, if you like watching crime documentaries on TV or films that feature bank robberies. We sort of look into that and try and understand the sociology of crime. So who commits the crime? Is it mainly poor people stealing to survive, or is it also rich people looking out to look after themselves? And also what we do loads of stuff, don't we? We look at globalization and the digital world. So we look at things like Facebook, TikTok, what are they about? We look at fake news, who has access to the internet, what does that mean for society, what does that mean about identity? Maybe a lot of you guys would have online identities that are different to your real life identity. What's that about? We sort of dig into those issues. So basically it's all about life, it's about society, it's about our interconnectivity. And if you like a debate, if you like to maybe question things like Black Lives Matter, or there's a lot of stuff in the news about, I don't know if you're following this anti-woke sort of channel, GB News. We sort of challenge that and see what that's about really. And so I think if you're interested in understanding what is going down in society, then sociology is a subject for you. You can get involved, you can do straightforward sociology at university. You can get into humanities, history, or even get into law. I mean, sociology is a sort of subject where you're getting a lot of skills that are transferable. It's a subject that wants you to question everything and to weigh up pros and cons of various arguments. And so you think of any kind of degree that is, it'd be a sort of written degree, I should think, where you're expressing yourself through arguments and looking at the sort of strengths and weaknesses of different perspectives. Then there's all those types of things. I mean, you can go straight into teaching, and there's a wide range. You can even get into like management, business, anything that's working with people, as well as, because you're basically getting to understand how people tick, as well as understanding how society is shaped and that kind of stuff. So plenty of options. The summer work is basically I want you to have a little bit of a think about who do you think you are. And really just have a think about how has your identity been shaped and reinforced by those around you. So there's a few bits and pieces. There's actually 5 things I'd like you to have a go at doing. One of them is like looking at how do your family and friends influence you. So, like, have you ever got into trouble because of your friends? Like peer group pressure. Do they influence how you perceive yourself in terms of your gender identity? Is that, because I know that's a lot of sort of issues around at the moment about changing the ideas of gender identity, gender fluidity, sexuality. So maybe have a think about those in yourself. And we're also looking at you doing an online quiz. So there's some content there on a video I want you to watch that gives you a few ideas about what sociology is. I also want you to have a think about how films and music shape who you are, and maybe you've got somebody that you, particular music artist that you like, that you see as a bit of a role model, and what is it about them that inspires you? How important do you think films are in shaping our perception of each other? Sometimes films can have really positive messages, sometimes they can be really stereotypical, so I'd like you to have a bit of a think about that. And one of the biggest pieces in the prep work I want you to do is I want to hear what you think about COVID-19, because in sociology we're looking at young people, but we're looking at the generations and how some generations have a lot to say. In sociology we've got the baby boom generation that were born after the Second World War, and a lot of people talk about the boomers. They were like into hippies and mods and rockers, and they had a real kind of push on society. They had a voice, they had something to say. And I think that is true of your generation, because your generation has been through a lot. You've sort of made a lot of sacrifices for the benefit of wider society. And I think what I'd like you to do in your project work is to have a think about, has COVID changed the way you think? Has it made you evaluate and think about how important personal connections are with people rather than just interacting online? So really I want you to sort of, you'll see when you look at the document that your signposted to online, but basically I want you to just say what you have to say. What insight has this experience had for you? Has it enlightened you about how important communities are? Has it exposed inequalities in society? That kind of thing, So basically I want to hear what you've got to say, and how COVID has really, what has it made you think differently?